Gilgeous Alexander. Shabbat for three. Bingo!
Carter will get it for the win. Got it! He is hard to believe.
Here's Jordan.
The Magic, a 360 turn with the dribble. Magic down the middle. Gives underneath to Worthy. Slam dunk.
Third in the corner. Double fake.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to an off-season edition of Dime Dropper. I'm not confirming if I'm doing an episode on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, so the live chat is on, the super chats are on. I can see your comments. Shout out to all of you guys for tuning in with me, in the off-season and supporting me throughout the season. As I said, I'm not going anywhere. I got videos coming out this weekend. By the way, if you guys did not check out my video with Spencer Garrett from Winning Time, please check that out. It's the biggest guest I had thus far, especially if you watch the show. So today, by the way, coming to you live from Los Angeles, as always, a beautiful day in LA. We got a move to talk about. A couple of, I wouldn't say moves, but one main move to talk about. And it's, of course, it feels really good to be talking about my Clips again. Clipper Nation, welcome back. John Wall, the John Wall, coming to the Clips off a buyout. We've been hearing about John Wall being bought out for like over a year now, since he landed in Houston, really, in the trade for Russ. And, we saw him last season. We can go back to my recaps in the playlist of the 2021 season, when the very few games that the Clippers or Lakers played the Rockets. You can check out my analysis there from that time, and I may check it out myself, honestly. But what I remember seeing, guys, is that he was not the same at all. He didn't have the same burst off the dribble. Much like Russell Westbrook, they went underneath the screens and let him shoot. And that's what they're going to be doing. And then off the ball, he doesn't really offer much value. And on defense, I mean, he was fantastic back in the day. Well, not amazing, but good. I thought he was really solid. And I don't know how much has he got left. Did he have the same burst, the athleticism? And his game was very largely built off of that. I know he averaged 20 points, but on 40% shooting and 31 from three in this era, which is even more spacing. And up until this season, when they kind of changed the rules, 2021 season was as ticky-tack as even more ticky-tack than when John was on the Wizards when he was like the mid-2010s. So the fact that he's shooting 40%, and by the way, it's not even just the ticky-tack rules, it's the spacing as well, mainly. And John Wall shooting 40% and 31 from three on a team that sucked. So I really didn't think that there was much need for this because, hypothetically, John Wall could buy into a bench role, understand that, his time is past. He can be a role player, but there may be games he doesn't play much. There may end up being games, or maybe, maybe that's me being too negative. Maybe he'll end up being very solid in this role. We've seen us kind of revitalize the careers of Reggie Jackson and Nico Batum. But the thing about Nico Batum and Reggie they were originally role players. They're looking for a role. John Wall was a star. And he was on a sinking ship in Houston that was rebuilding. So he didn't play all of last season. And that's another thing. I'm not saying he's out of shape or anything. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but he's not basketball for over a year in the NBA level. And that matters too to me. So I'm not really fully gung-ho on this move, even though I was a huge John Wall fan. Like, I was wearing his shirt today that I got from the Verizon Center, the one Wizards game I went to. Because as I say, I'll get souvenirs. I don't know if I'll do it much anymore because, as I said, I don't really buy current players' jerseys or shirts or anything like that anymore because I don't really love the players the same way I did because I looked up to them when I was a kid or when I was in like grade school and stuff. But I did, cop a souvenir for most games I went to at other teams. And I like the Wizards. I was actually they were one of the teams I liked in the playoffs and rooted for in the East. And I like Beal. I like Wall, Gortat, and Nene. I'll get into the new media thing in a second, Kyle. But if I do end up posting this on Spotify and Apple, sorry, I'm taking the comments as well. So I'll try to say them out loud to make it more clear what they're asking. However, so on the John Wall thing, guys, I really like the Wizards, guys. I really did. And I really like John Wall still. I mean, it's not like he's the different person. He's obviously a different player, but I still like the guy. And I want him to do well with the Clippers. Like, here's the thing. I don't think it's a great move, especially because it sounds like we're going to give him like the taxpayer, mid-level, whatever, taxpayer, TPE. And that means that we'll only have like a couple, 3 million or something to give Isaiah, which means that Isaiah Hartenstein is very, very likely to walk. But the thing about Isaiah is he loves being here so much. You see him working out on Instagram with all the guys. And, he knows his model. I mean, his girl's a model and she wants to be out here and they're really happy out here. So he may do something where he takes like a 1-year deal and then he gets paid out after the championship parade next year if all goes accordingly. But he may have that in mind. He may be down to do that because he likes it here so much. But the likely scenario is he could be gone. The one thing that serves well for us with the Isaiah thing, it was that I saw some rumors today that the Clippers were looking to get Nerlens Noel, and we just saw Nerlens Noel and Alec Burks were traded to the Detroit Pistons, who are having a pretty solid offseason themselves. And that's good because it means that those Noel rumors can be crushed. And everybody was saying, oh, if the Clippers get Noel, that's a solid replacement for Isaiah. Here's my takeaway is the point is, if John Wall comes at the expense of Isaiah, I'm not fucking with it. Because here's my thing, guys. I have a discussion with my boy Fabian that was on my Knicks, the Melo era Knicks video, which, by the way, the part 4, the very last part, the Phil Jackson portion of the video, is going to be coming out very soon, within the next 2 or 3 weeks, probably. And forgot what I was even going to say about him. Oh, we have this discussion about point guards and pass first point guards and what a point guard is. And in my opinion, in today's NBA, actually, I don't think it's an opinion. It's a fact to me. The definition of a point guard has changed. There are not that many of those pure pass first point guards that when they come up the floor, their first instinct is to move the ball, because that's not really how they're taught nowadays. The way guys are being brought up now, ever since they changed the rules in the 2000s, is that guys or point guards or smaller guards are using their scoring ability to dictate their openings passing the ball. Back in the day, it was more setting the tempo, knowing, because usually back in the day, the point guard was not a top 2 scorer usually on your team. Unless you had like a superstar point guard, one of those. Typically, you had a couple better scorers than him. So his job is to know which guy to go to, make good entry passes in the post, also be able to do pick and roll. But now it's a steady dose of high screen and roll or pick and pop, high ball screen with the floor spread pick and roll, which totally changes everything. So it's really about what your ability is to score, or the gravity, as they say, creating openings for other people. So nowadays, like the Chris Pauls are a rarity. And by the way, he still creates with his thing, but he is more traditional. And he came up in the 2000s. He's drafted in 2005. So it's different. But Chris Paul is still a traditional point guard who still leverages his scoring ability to open up things in the pick and roll. It's because he has a mid-range. It's because you can't go under the screen. It's because he makes all the right reads, what makes him so unstoppable in the pick and roll. But what takes him out now, and always has been the counter, is to switch with length on him, because he's not a Kyrie Irving, Damian Lillard, Trae Young, Steph level scorer. His best attribute is to control pace and pass the ball. So that's where he gets exposed. Now, with Rondo, we brought in a guy who we thought could move the ball and find guys, right? You guys think Reggie Jackson or Norman Powell are incapable of making like solid passes to Kawhi and Paul to go to work in an ISO, or solid entry passes in the post, or finding them off curls and off ball actions, just making decent passes that a lot of people can make? Because I think that they can do those things. And I do think Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are going to be probably leading our team in assists, because they are going to have the most pick and roll reps handling the ball. And they're going to create, they draw the most attention. They're the best. So to me, when we got Norman Powell, that's Norman Powell, Reggie Jackson, and then we have Kawhi and Paul, and then also Terrence Mann, Luke Kennard, and even Amir Coffey showed some playmaking chops last year. Here's my question to the audience. Do the Clippers have problems creating shots? In my opinion, we don't. And I get what John Wall, when we talked about with Eric Bledsoe, right? We needed a point guard that could get downhill and create openings that way, because Paul can get downhill. Kawhi doesn't get by people as much anymore. He's still is unguardable to me, but he's mainly now, it's kind of like how Kobe was when he was number 24 winning chips, mid-range and a lot of skill. Even though Kawhi is stronger and Kobe was a more skilled player all around and all that, different caliber of player, Kawhi is very strong, but I still think it's more mid-post. You go back to that game 6, and that was when we were talking about Kawhi's insane field goal percentage with the shots that he's taking. It's a steady diet of mid-range, and he's, more of a 2000s kind of player in that sense. He's mid-range. He really embraces it, and my point is I don't think we're going to have problems creating shots. I think what we need is to secure Isaiah. We have plenty of wings. I wanted, if we were to get somebody, I was saying a secondary ball handler, because when Reggie comes out, I don't know what we're going to have. Because there were times last season where when Reggie was out, we didn't have a secondary ball handler. It was just Norman Powell. But what we're forgetting is we're going to have Paul George and Kawhi, Leonard. You feel me? I keep forgetting this. So, how many people are going to get to play? That's my thing. I don't think John Wall, well, yes, he's better than most bench players. I do think he is. But my thing is, does he have that same burst to create those openings on the drive? People are going to be sagging off on him all day long. They're going to go under screens. So he's not going to be how he created so much was the pick and roll with Gortat. People would chase. He had a decent enough 18-footer to the point where sometimes people would go over the screen, or even when they went under the screen, he would still find a burst, just that opening to get downhill, and then he would drop it off to Gortat or explode at the rim or kick it out. You know what I'm saying? I just don't know if he's creating those anymore. The fact that he wasn't efficient on just a garbage team, I don't know, man. I mean, I get it. It's hard to be efficient when your other players aren't good, but come on, man. I don't know. We'll see. I hope I'm wrong and that he does very well for us. To me, John Wall is as great of a passer as he was, and don't think I'm underestimating his passing ability. John Wall is a certified dime dropper. Difference is, I still don't consider that a true pass-first point guard. He's an attack-first point guard, like a lot of these point guards to me. Even Derrick Rose, he was attack-first, and John Wall kind of falls in that category with Russ as well. And to me, these are traditional passers. John Stockton, I wouldn't call Oscar a traditional pass first, even though he was just a jack of all trades. But John Stockton, traditional. Chris Paul, traditional. Malcolm Brogdon was the pipe dream. That's the one I wanted. He's the guy I wanted because I thought he would be perfect. He would be our starting point guard. Reggie would come off the bench. He understands things. He still has a good enough shot where he creates openings in the pick and roll, even though he's not fast off the dribble the way John Wall used to be, and maybe still is. Better. He's definitely faster than Brogdon, I'd assume. But I just like how Brogdon can shoot the ball. He has, off the ball, he would be good. That's another thing. With John Wall off the ball, what's he going to do? Does he have good off the ball movement still? You know what I'm saying? Him spotting up, they're going to be sagging off him all day long. So that's my thing. If John Wall came at the exception of Isaiah, not fucking with it. Not fucking with it, really. But we'll see. I hope we keep him. And I really don't want to lose Luke Kennard. We need spot-up shooters with Kawhi and Paul back. And I know, guys, that we're going to have load management, and there's going to be a lot of guys missing games and here and that, this and that. So we're going to need depth. But I'm just thinking in the playoffs, I don't want John Wall thinking that he's he may play so well that actually, I don't know about that. But if he plays so well to the point where he starts thinking he's like that John Wall again, I don't want him taking away. I don't want him being another Reggie that's taking away from that. We have two dudes who can drop 30 points on a give when he's healthy. Last we saw of him, arguably the best player in the league. I stand by that because he scores in a different way than Steph in terms of post-game, mid-range, the power game. He's a better defender than Steph. And we're talking about Giannis. He's way better. He's way more skilled. So he's got something on everybody in that conversation. KD, I'm talking Steph and Giannis right now. And then Jokic, it's just defensively when Kawhi's locked in the playoffs, man, he's something. I hope he's still like that, though. So that's the one thing I'm nervous about. What Kawhi are we getting? That's going to be here's the thing. At the end of the day, guys, the John Wall thing is very low risk. I know I've talked about it for 14 minutes straight, but it's very low risk. Okay. It's not going to be a big deal. I trust Ty. I think we have a good history of the culture that we're building and finding roles for guys. It's just a matter of if they're willing to buy in. He needs to be willing to buy in and realize, some nights he's not going to get that many minutes. And I truly believe he won't get that many minutes some nights. If he's not playing well, we got dudes. We need to keep Kennard, though. I'm going to be pissed if we let him go because he's a 40 shooting. His shooting, not just his range, but the shots that he hits. He also has the ability to shoot in the mid-range. He's getting more comfortable in the pick and roll, handling the ball. And he improved tremendously on defense last season. Will he still get targeted in certain situations in the playoffs? Absolutely. But that's why he's going to be great for the ride. He's going to be great in situations. And we have one of the best coaches in the league to figure all that out. But there's really a place for Kennard on this team. You better not let him go. The sacrificial lamb, though, is going to be what I think and has to be Marcus Morris Sr. And I love Mook. Love him. He's been huge, and we needed him last season to score. But with Kawhi back, with Paul, with Norman, now with John Wall, another guy that can create, we're not going to need guys that only score and do nothing else. And that's what Mook does. He spaces the floor. He shoots the ball well. He's a okay, decent defender when he's trying. And a lot of times he's very lazy on defense. He's slow laterally now. He doesn't do anything at the rim in terms of deterring shots. He doesn't rebound, and he's sometimes our second biggest guy on the floor. He doesn't move without the ball at all, and he doesn't get to the rim and create easy looks. A lot of his shots are tough. He's like an 80s player, but with the three ball. But just contested shots over guys. I wouldn't. That's actually unfair to the 80s player because a lot of freak athletes were in the 80s. And Mook was athletic at Kansas, but he's lost that. He's a much better player now, though. But we don't need him, man, anymore. And I love Mook. But here's what I envision. By the way, sorry I'm not reading the comments. I'm about to read them now. Reggie Jackson still should start, in my opinion, because he's got the chemistry with these guys and he's better off the ball. And at the end of the day, John Wall should not be handling the ball more than Kawhi and Paul at this stage of his career. Even though he's more of a traditional, or he's a point guard and they're not, I'm sorry. Let's let him try. You know what? If Ty wants to do that and let him try in the opening night, which he won't because he's smart, then we'll see. But I'm going with Reg, Paul at the 2. We going big. Kawhi, Nico, and Zoo. And by the way, congratulations to Zoo. Just got a $33 million extension for 3 years, $11 million a year. Great value. I've tweeted about it before, but I'm all in on Zoo. I think he can be our starting center in a championship team. There will be series where they're not for him, and Ty will know what to do. But anyway, wait, time out, Kyle. What are you saying? Comment says, also, love you all for bringing back Isaiah Hartenstein. He was huge for the season. I think he's that type of guy that you need to see games in order to see his impact. When do we bring him back? But anyway, delusional Pelicans fan? Is that the delusional Pelicans fan from Twitter? No, that's optimistic Pelicans fan. Not gonna lie, I've been waiting for this. Wall is here. Can't wait to see more offseason transaction lives. Do the John Wall. Hey, we're buying in though. By the way, shout out to Luke Kennard and my man Ernie with the merchandise. TrinitySkateApparel.com. Shout out if you want to get shirts like this, Clipper fans. Check out my man Ernie's website. Nuke Kennard, though. I don't want this shirt to be a vintage shirt. You know what I'm saying? We need Nuke. So, by the way, to finish off, that was our starting lineup, right? Now we go to the bench. You have John Wall now, Norman, so that's 2 ball handlers, and Kennard. So that's 3 guards, all 6'4" and under. I don't like that. Because they're not all 3 going to play together much. It's too small. And then Terrence, Rocco, and hopefully Isaiah. That's 11 players regularly, but there's going to be load management, so it's not a big deal. But I don't know, it's a lot. Because then we also have the Brewmaster and Brandon Boston. So 13 guys that could get into most rotations in the league. So, and then if you add Marcus Morris, that's 14. So we got problems. I mean, not problems. These are good problems to have, but I hope we make the right decisions. But I'm still going to support John Wall all the way through. I don't think it's a great move. Was that necessary? But you know what? I could be wrong. If he can still get to the basket at a level that really puts pressure on the defense and creates good looks for everybody, that's going to be great. I just want him to buy in more than anything. And we'll see how he does on defense. That's what I'm more interested in than anything as well. He has something to play for. He has a real ring to play for if he buys in. I hope he doesn't think he's going to be like the 3rd best player on this team or something. But you know what? He could prove me wrong. But I just don't want him to think that because I just don't think it's realistic. Let's see the comments, though. Cameron Aselli says, wish we somehow finesse Kyrie. So, by the way, on Kyrie's situation, yeah, that was interesting. He was playing the waiting game. The Nets did not offer him the max. They didn't want to. They were suspect on it. And if they did offer him, there would have been a 65 games played clause where if it's not guaranteed if he doesn't play that many games. And I know he wasn't comfortable with that. And I don't blame the Nets fully for the not max, but I just thought that for a second, KD was going to leave. And they called his bluff because Kyrie Irving, they were talking about signing trades. He wants to go to the Lakers. And obviously the Lakers would love to have him, but it's like, who are you trading if you're the Lakers? No, they don't want Westbrook. They're not going to pair Ben Simmons with Westbrook and obviously KD with Westbrook again. So Lakers don't really have any value. But then there were rumors yesterday that caused a frenzy that were saying that Kyrie was willing to take $6 million. And that would for 1 year and then sign big with the Lakers after. And that was ridiculous. I was like, if he does that, oh my God. But instead, he realized that was stupid and he opted in. And I was wondering, is KD talking to the front office? Is he just sitting back and just letting it happen? But he opted into the 38 million or 37 million for the last year, and then we'll do it all next year. But I'm happy for that. I'm really happy because I didn't want a big balance of power. People were acting like KD was a Phoenix Sun already. It was ridiculous on Twitter. So I'm really happy that nothing happened because the way the league is what I want. Because I think the Clippers have a great chance when healthy. Oh, Kyle's take says Draymond did say that the Clips are the biggest threat to us. Fully agree. Can't wait for our games next year. Need Clips dubs on opening night. Cameron Silly says, Dime, do you watch cats like Dom, 2K, Rusty Buckets, Jimmy High Roller? I'll tell you in a second. Let me turn the light on real quick. Okay, to answer that question, Dom 2K, I've watched some of his videos, but he comes off like a bronzexual on Twitter. So I had to mute him. I was tired of it. Rusty Buckets is decent. He was decent. Sometimes he can be a little bit modern media heavy for me. Jimmy High Roller, I can't stand, even though he's a good content creator, I can't stand because he made that one video about illegal defense that totally brainwashed so many people and totally misrepresented everything about, oh man. Watch Legend of Winning's rebuttal to that. That video poisoned minds. It has millions of views. The fact that it's still up, it's disgusting. Who's Hoops, etc. Oh, Andy Hoops. I like Andy Hoops. I'm subscribed to him. I like his video on Connie Hawkins. I like Legend of Winning more than all those guys. He's been in space. I've never been in space with him, but I like his channel. But at the end of the day, man, I don't know. You're never going to agree fully with everybody. I support my people. Angry Lakers Fan TV said, what's up, Dime? Shout out to Angry Lakers Fan TV. 2,000 subscribers. Go hit his channel and give him a subscribe, man. Kyle's takes. By the way, the Knicks going all in on Jalen Brunson, $25 million a year. Just traded Nerlens Noel and Alec Burks, who were like two solid depth pieces, especially Burks. And it's like you want to build around Jalen Brunson and Randall, but like 25, all this for Jalen Brunson for $25 million a year. It's not it to me. It's going to make the Knicks better. It may make them like a play-in team, maybe the 6th seed. I doubt it though. The East is way too good nowadays. So I think they're going to be like maybe like a 10 or 9 seed if they make Jalen Brunson. It doesn't move the needle that much. What they have to bank on is the maturation of Obi Toppin and RJ Barrett keep taking steps. Because Randall, he's peaked to me. But you know what it could do is if they do show some promise, get in the play-in or something, just get a playoff game at MSG, people see what it looks like, and it's like, oh my God, that shit is hype. Look like they're going to some kind of right direction. Maybe a big free agent will want to come the next summer. But I don't know. It's not worth it to me. Wall, Beal, OPJ, Keith Gortat, says Kyle's takes. That team was great. Sadly, furthest one was round 2, game 7. Damn, bro, I really wanted them to beat Indiana. Man, no water. I really wanted them to beat Indiana. And I wanted them to beat Boston. Who are my favorite YouTubers? My favorite YouTubers are guys that post full games and content for me. Those are my favorite YouTubers. Wilt Chamberlain Archive. The guys that post full games. My boy Non-Players Elot 4. Oh, shout out to my man Davo Birmingham. I doubt he watches my lives, but I fuck with his channel because he inspired me to do vlogs and interview fans and stuff at the games. He has a pretty nice big channel for Birmingham City FC. And man, football culture, man, overseas is another level of passion. It's like you have me, but like thousands. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's not it with NBA. Maybe with big ass franchises like Lakers and Celtics, but they're not thousands of me. The Clippers, hell no. Hell no. Jackson, solid passer. He's reluctant though. Yeah, he just doesn't have a very high basketball IQ. That's one thing I'll give John Wall. He has a much higher basketball IQ than Reggie. Kyle takes us over the Clips. Who's the first 5? Already answered that. Yep, Stephen Withers says Kawhi get paint points off bully ball. Kyle takes us, will Ty Lue go so deep to have a third 5? Okay, relax. Kyle takes us, yes, Zubats was brought back, not Isaiah, correct. King Charles says just going to have to wait and see. Yes, sir. My man Uzair Khan says Malcolm hospital bed Brogdon played less games than Kawhi and PG. That's true, but the Pacers were tanking a little bit. And at the end of the day, bro, again, it's like, if we're just giving up like a Marcus Morris Sr. for him, it's like we have so much depth. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't really matter. Kyle Steak says, yeah, you made a good point. People are going to be sagging off the wall as well, going under every screen. Yep. King Charles says, do you think man in Boston playing time and development will be hurt with Wall? Good question. I don't know. I hope not. I mean, Boston for sure. I don't think Boston's going to be ready to play even like, I don't even think he'll average like 10 minutes a game in the playoffs this next year because it's going to be championship level ball for all accordingly. You know, we'll be right in the mix. And we're going to need a good regular season seed, man. He's going to get minutes in the regular season here and there, but I don't think he'll be a regular rotation player. We need to get a top 2 seed, man. Most championship teams, I think the only 2 teams that have ever won a championship below 3rd seed were the 69 Celtics and the Rockets in 95. So we need to get top 3, but I want top 2. I want home court advantage in the second round. We've never had a top 2 seed outside of that 2020 ridiculous season. So we need it. Terrence will not be hindered by Wall though, because Terrence guards. So he's going to be big time for us next year. Kyle says Clips need to run the squad back with the stars back. Same thing for the Dubs. I agree. What's up, Jordan? My man Ryan says, let's go off-season dropper. What's up? Sinan McKenna, what's up, my guy? Ty Baller says, honestly, I'm not going to lie. Wall being on this team might be that locker room piece y'all need. Great playmaker and most former teammates. Okay, but here's the thing, though. Why do we lack a locker room presence? I feel like our team is very kumbaya and very loves each other right now. Ever since Ty Lue came, he's changed everything. Daniel Clifford says, I'm not super excited about the Wall signing, but I'm going to support whoever wears our jersey. Wall's not the starter, though. People need to get that through their heads. I agree. Oh, yes, the new media. So the new media, is the new media just propping up the now and shitting on the past and just, you know, today, an example of the new media. So I already know about JJ Baby Dick. I'm not even going to get into him. But Draymond Green goes out and says that we needed to get KD or else we wouldn't have beaten the Cavs, but we would have beaten the Rockets. Okay, let's break this down, right? How in tarnation do you lose game 7 by 4 points decided in the last minute, a suspension that you said cost you the finals, and Steph Curry was not 100% because he got injured in the first round, and you're talking about we weren't going to win without Kevin. And his reasoning was Steph couldn't get a bucket whenever he wanted, but KD could. I disagree wholeheartedly. I think KD has an easier time getting a shot one-on-one against anybody because of his size. But Steph Curry was still leading the better offense, still making everybody better, still moving without the ball, was in the conversation for best player in the world that season when they were on separate teams, and knocked him out of the playoffs. So, and if you want to say it's all because of the coach and all because of the team around him, then okay. But it's like this Steph Curry winning the championship this year doubled down on it. But Draymond wanted to say that it was his years with KD that got him ready for this moment. I don't buy it. 2015, y'all won a ring. I know it was pretty fortunate, but it's like, if he hadn't gotten hurt in 2016, what would it have looked like? Because I don't think we consider 2016 Steph Curry at his peak. So you're telling me, I listen, if you think he's just as good now in different ways, I can hear you on that for sure. I mean, he never had a playoff run like this one. So let's not even start there. And I care more about the playoffs in the regular season. And he's more experienced now. So I like this Steph Curry. But 2016 regular season, oh my God, it was another level. So if we consider, most people consider it by the metrics and like the 73-9 and all that, that's the best Steph Curry. So you're telling me he wasn't ready to get a bucket whenever he wanted, but KD was. Okay, so if he was ready to get a bucket whenever he wanted, what happened when you guys beat them in the playoffs? Andre Roberson was the guy that was sagging off, and he was doing the same shit at the top of the key, which is the reason why I went hard at him this year, because the same thing happened. We just didn't see him do it because he was bailed out by the Warriors. Steph Curry didn't need all that. He won the championship with the way it was. And by the way, yes, Steve Kerr totally transformed the system and all that. I definitely agree with that. But I still think there was natural maturation for Steph Curry. And he was young. He was only in his 5th season when he lost to us in the playoffs in 2014. After that, Steve Kerr came in his 6th season, 7. Like, he got him right for his prime. So it's also like that as well. It's also good luck for Kerr. But I'm not going to take away what Kerr did for the team. What Kerr really did was he made Draymond a different level. I think what Kerr did for Draymond was unbelievable. And obviously what Curry does and Clay do for Draymond. But yeah, that was a weird take to me because KD, like, he's still like, get a bucket whenever you want. Like, no. Like, I think we over exaggerate that because in the playoffs at the highest level of competition, you're not just being guarded by one person. The Warriors may have been able to get away with that when KD may have been able to get away with that with the Warriors because they were able to mismatch hunt basically because the defense had to pick their poison. How many times did KD get Tristan Thompson and Kevin Love on an island in those finals? Or even LeBron on an island. He likes that matchup, even though LeBron was probably the best matchup for him definitely probably either him or like, I don't know, was Iman Shumpert still in the Cavs at that point? Whatever, not the point. LeBron probably was. And KD was cooking his ass. But it's like KD's going to cook people one-on-one with no help. And, I mean, that's not being guarded like the stars that we, talk about. So, and finally, and Steph Curry being guarded that way has won 2 championships. KD has not won any. So, I think Draymond is, you know what I think it is, though, guys? Like, you're going to think I'm hating, but I think it's because he's been in cahoots ever since with LeBron and his team, ever since he joined Clutch, and he done so much good PR for Bron in the media. This is just another pro-Bron thing. Oh, I think we would have lost. This is backing up the stands narrative of Draymond called KD in the parking lot because they were scared LeBron was going to kick their ass the next 2 years. First of all, Kyrie Irving left in 2017. So you're telling me that you would have lost the 2018 Cavs? That narrative, I bet he better have only been talking about 2017. But where's the confidence in your team, bruh? It's just. So that's my answer to the new media is, the new media is no different. They have hot takes too. The difference is they played in the NBA. What's the difference between Charles Barkley and Shaq? Is that the old media? They played in the NBA and they have their opinions. It's the same nonsense, bruh. These guys just have more knowledge of X's and O's than the Stephen A's and all that. They don't do narratives. What the hell? What kind of narrative is that? You don't have it. Whatever. Anyway. Home opener going to be fire, says Angel Sanchez. Yes, sir. Ty Baller says, let's hope he's worked on the jumper, though. He's been sidelined since 2019. You're talking about John Wall? He hasn't been sidelined since 2019. Sheena McKenna says, thoughts on Mike Dunleavy as a coach for the 2000s Clips? Wow, what an interesting question. I loved Mike Dunleavy. I think he was good with experienced players, but I think he was good with experienced players, but after that, I just think that the ship sank, and I was a little young, too, at that time. You know what I mean? Like, our team was just lazy. Like, I don't know. I like Mike Dunleavy, but I remember being at a game where we said fire Dunleavy, and I remember he was walking by at the locker room, and somebody was like, fuck you, fire Dunleavy. And he was like, fuck you. Oh, that was before iPhones and videos, man. That would have been viral these days. I just remember seeing that as a kid, which made me realize, imagine how many of those moments probably happened way back in like the 90s and 80s before we had like iPhones and shit. Oh, man, you could get away with so much more. Wow, Daniel Clifford says Boston's going to be in the G League next season, in my opinion. Maybe a little bit, but I hope not regularly. Ty Baller, to my response to the John Wall leadership, says, you always need different levels of leadership in the locker room, even with great coaching. I understand. I agree with that. King Charles asks, with how the roster is constructed right now, who are you comfortable with saying is the third option, and who's the biggest key to our playoff success other than Kawhi and George? We don't have no third option, but I would lean Norman Powell or Reggie, depending on who's feeling it. We don't have a clear third option. That's okay. Did the Lakers have a clear third option when they won championships? Yeah, Lamar Odom probably. Probably Lamar. Yeah, Lamar. Does every team have a clear third option when they win chips? Shaq and Kobe didn't. Besides, like Glenn Rice for 1 year. Yeah, they didn't. So I know that's tough to say that. But hey, man, the Detroit Pistons didn't even have a clear first option when they won that chip in 2004. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you for reminding me. He said the team was starting to figure the Dubs out. In what way? He said the Thunder were starting to figure us out. I disagree. They were just bigger than you. They had size that Steven Adams, Enes Kanter, and they were in Ibaka. They were big, and Curry wasn't 100%. Like, that's all it was. And then they lost. You feel me? They lost. Like, figured out? Curry and Clay were still in their prime. You were still in your prime. Like, I think it's just revisionist history. I think it's just him trying to make LeBron sound better. Because he was like, we'll beat the Rockets. No doubt. We'd never lose into that team. Dude, they were closer to beating you with KD than Bron ever was. Whatever. Steven McKenna says Kevin Garnett or Dirk for second best power forward. First of all, who's to say that it's those two? I know that's the popular answer because they have a ring. But that's an argument that I am not ready to say who's better. There's no wrong answer. I see both sides of the coin. KD, the two-way player, all that. But Dirk leading his team to the chip. Consensus best player. It's a tough one. We'll see when my timeline's done. I mean, remember, I missed a lot of their years. So, but I don't think Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, and Kevin McHale are not in the conversation. Or a guy like, if you're old enough, Bob Pettit was the consensus best player on his championship team and beat Bill Russell in the finals, which no other team can say they have. So, Kyle's take says, even Andrew Bogut got injured in 2016. Oh, yeah, my bad. I didn't even mention that. Yeah, no one talks about it, but that played a factor. We had no respectable rim protector. Nathan Wong says, going to have to go to a few Clipper games this season. Going to be fun to watch. You should. Hopefully no injuries. Well, hopefully no serious injuries. There's going to be injuries. Sinner McKenna says, I know these questions are random, but I'm watching all playoff games from 2000 onward. Wow, really? Where'd you start? I'm curious. Ty Baller says, one argument I hate for superstars when it comes to underperforming in the playoffs is, but they were being doubled and the defense was keying in on them. I know that's part of being a star. Kyle's take says, where do you think Ayton will go? Great question. I hope Detroit. That would be really fun. But now they got Nerlens Noel and they got a center in the draft. And they got Jaden Ivey, who I heard Asher tells me he's good off the ball. So, and he can attack off the catch. So it'll be a lot of Cade catching the ball and it'll be fun. Finally, things are looking up for Detroit. Kyle's takes that Suns or Grizzlies making top 4 next season. Better shot for the Grizzlies as it stands to me than Phoenix. We'll see what happens with Ayton, but it's too early to make predictions. My favorite players in the draft, asked Sinan McKenna. I didn't watch that much basketball, college basketball, as much as I would have wanted, but I like Christian Koloko from Arizona. He had great length, great size, athleticism, and he even showed some slimmer of good post fundamentals. And then Paolo Banchero was impressive at his size. I mean, decent shot. I don't know how great it's going to be at the NBA level, but he was so strong, man. He was posting up a bit, tough finishes, like rebound. Size, man. Ty Baller said, with what we saw this year, clear third options might not be needed. Arguably, all 4 teams in the conference finals this year had a 1-2 punch with everyone else playing their role. That's right. Top 4 Premier League next season. Great question. Man City first. Also too early for that. There's going to be a lot of signings in July, so I don't know if I'm going to say that, but City first. Started crouching on 2004. How come 2004? Man, I forgot. Guys, I'm sorry that my lighting isn't good. I didn't get a chance to put my ring light on, and yeah, I'm probably going to end it soon. Even though 23 people in the live, shout out to all you guys, man. Super chats are turned on. If you want to drop $1 a dime, anything helps. So by the way, upcoming video plans, Time Machine episode 5 is coming out this week. Knicks and Bucks, the defending champion Knicks. So go watch Time Machine episode 3 if you want to know more about that team. And then the Bucks, who you saw in Time Machine episode 4, $71. So the title, the defending champs versus the challengers. Kareem and Oscar versus Clyde and Willis. It's my favorite game of the 70s so far. It's going to be great. Did you see Perk saying and confirming that he wished an ACL injury? Yeah, another thing, it's like, why did you wait 15 years to say this? You've been riding LeBron like a horse for 14 years, and now you're coming out and saying it? Like, I don't know, man. That team I didn't see any fear on the Celtics when I was watching them play. And Pierce and Garnett make it clear they didn't fear him, but hey, man, whatever. Eric, as the Spurs are winning the league next year, next joke. And he's talking about Tottenham Hotspurs, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple. Jordan Francis says, my Tampa Bay Lightning lose the Stanley Cup this year, but I'm still proud of my team until I died. Okay. I also wanted to say that. Thanks for reminding me. Shout out to the Colorado Avalanche and my boy Cale Makar, who went to school with me at UMass. Didn't have any class with him or anything, but he was the best athlete on campus. Hockey was the only sport at UMass that was good in my time there, and he won the freaking Smythe Trophy, the playoff MVP. So shout out to you, dude. He was just at college with me. And won a championship and was that important to his team. Like, all hail the Minutemen, baby. Go you. Got to see 08 series versus Cavs Celtics. Cal's take says, I just watched that series recently, and it was awesome to rewatch. Go watch it. A lot of revisionist history done with that series. But, all right, y'all. Any last questions? Make sure to comment on this video and like it after it's done. Make sure to check out my Spencer Garrett video, Dime Dripper featuring episode 2, my biggest guest yet. And watch Winning Time if you haven't. And, of course, to make sure you tune into Time Machine episode 5 and watch all the Time Machine episodes because they're education for free. Or if you're even into it, watch the full games. Listen, Kyle's takes. It says, I want to see the game where Braun and Pierce drop 40, game 7. Watch it. But, man, I'll tell you this. If you can watch the other games first, it'll be more fun. Appreciate you, Kyle's takes. Jordan Francis says, my friend Savage Sev is a Colorado Avalanche fan, and he's a Denver fan, so we like Denver. Feel you, man. All right, y'all. Have a great night, everybody. Peace out. Oh, Cedar McKenna says, over under 55 clips games. 55 games, clips next season. Wins? Over. I'm taking that over, man. Can we get 60 wins for once? Can we get 60 wins for once? Yeah, you're saying clips in 6. I'm hoping so. All right, y'all. Peace out. Have a great night. Make sure to comment. Stay tuned this weekend. I can't wait. Time Machine episode 5. Peace.